Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, chapter 201. When we last left our heroes, Hak, Jae-ha, and Yoon were all kind of reacting to the rumors going around about Yona, about how she supposedly killed Lantan of South Kai, which was starting a war between Koka and South Kai. And so Hak went to go check up on Yona, slightly clandestinely, while Yona and Soo-Won were going to try to placate the South Kai dignitaries. Soo-Won ended up inviting them to Lantan's funeral, so they would have to wait a week or so before any actual war plans started. And as Soo-Won and Yona were leaving, Soo-Won had a small moment of weakness and bumped into Yona, and Hak caught her, but in doing so, saw that Soo-Won is now very weak and sickly, which is very bad because if Hak quite figures out what's going on, he will be executed. And yeah, that's where we left off last time, as Hak kind of realized that Soo-Won is much weaker than he used to be. And so we have our picture here, chapter 201, Gloom. It's a full-color, 2-page spread of Yona in like a pink-red robe, lying down on a red background, in case we forgot what Yona's signature color is. But yeah, it's nice. Anyway, chapter 201, Gloom. And so we open on, I think this is back with Hak and Jae-ha, as we kind of left Hak last time. And I think this is Jae-ha asks, "What? The king?" And Hak responds, "Yeah, Soo-Won, sharp as he is, didn't even notice me. And his face looked really pale." And Jae-ha responds, "Whoa." But he thinks to himself, "You're sharp too, aren't you?" Jae-ha, of course, knows about the scarlet disease, crimson illness, whatever we're calling it, from one chapter to another. But he cannot tell Hak because of the whole execution thing. But Hak continues, "Besides, it looked as if the princess was walking beside Soo-Won to support him. Perhaps her acting as a substitute for the king is because of Soo-Won's condition." And Jae-ha can't answer. Legally, he cannot answer. And Hak continues, "And as to why she's keeping away from us." And Jae-ha stops him. "Hak, I'm sorry, but I have to go back, and you should too." And Hak looks up at him. Yeah. And Hak puts his helmet on, hopefully not realizing why Jae-ha cut him off. But he might. And so Hak puts his helmet back on and walks up and leaves. And just then, I can't tell is this... So we see Hak has some visceral reaction of like fear or a sense of like bloodlust is the sense I get. And I'm not sure if there's this thing on the left side of the page. I can't tell if that's a physical thing or what. Oh, it definitely is, because someone comes with a blade to attack Hak. And Hak looks in shock as it's... I think we've seen this guy before. I think he's got the scar on his one eye. I think he was one of the guys guarding Yona when she was in the library a few chapters ago. Which means that Soo-Won probably realizes that Hak knows. And as the two of them kind of separate from their initial clash, Hak says, "If memory serves, you are." But the scar guy just goes for another slice at Hak, and Hak jumps out of the way. Hak ducks past another slice. Another slash comes towards Hak, and he blocks it this time with his sword. He's strong. And vote out loud, Hak says, "Hyuri, one of Soo-Won's masters, right? So the one whose gaze I've been feeling on me the whole day was you? Has Soo-Won, or was it Kei-Shuk, sent you after my life? And you didn't kill me on the spot that time because it was in front of everyone." Referring to when he caught Yona. "Or perhaps it's because I noticed the king's poor condition." Oh, you should not have said that part. You could have lied and said you didn't realize anything, Hak. But Hyuri goes for another slash that I've kind of not been fully saying how Hak is doing with this fight. Hyuri seems a lot stronger than Hak. Hak seems very, like, pushed back throughout this whole fight. And we see after that slash, he's kind of cut into Hak's wrist. And Hak, reacts to the pain. And we see Hyuri, I think he's going for a lunge this time. It's kind of the vibe the movement lines are giving me. But yeah, we really do just see, honestly, this whole section just kind of showcases Hyuri as like a force of nature. Especially with the silence, he's just very strong and imposing. I don't know. It's a really cool, design choice. But anyway, we then cut to two other guards. Did you hear a sound? Hey, is someone over there? They run over to presumably where Hak and Hyuri just were, and look around. Nothing. What? The other guard, though, sees a bloodstain on the ground. And then we see Hak in a cell, having lost to Hyuri. Okay. So this is developing in a way I did not think it would. I imagine that, like, if anything came of Hak realizing Soo-Won's illness, it would be a long while from now. But no, we're just blazing right on ahead. And Hak wakes up from his defeat at the hands of Hyuri, and he sits up, and he looks down and he sees the blood dripping from his hand. And then he looks up at Kei-Shuk and Hyuri. Which does kind of confirm what Hak was saying earlier. This is all Kei-Shuk's idea. And he just very casually, Hak just very casually, yo, advisor. I love Hak sometimes. I didn't expect you to show up immediately. That saves me the trouble, as old man Hyuri won't say a word. And Kei-Shuk asks, are you saying getting captured was your intention? I'd get nowhere by just standing still now, would I? We're busy now, so to be frank, my wish was for you to stand still. I don't think, have we ever seen the two of them kind of, like, verbally go at it before? Because I do like their kind of, rapport. And Hak asks, was that on Soo-Won's orders? No, His Majesty is unaware of this matter. He has told us to kill you the moment you get within a certain distance from him. I'm sure you were warned of it too. And Hak asks, then why am I alive? And Kei-Shuk is just silent. And Hak asks, well, isn't this about Soo-Won's life? He's gotten so weak he didn't even notice me. And then we see Kei-Shuk kind of pales. I mean, you can't really tell that in the black and white, but it's the kind of sense I get. And Hak's next line kind of implies the same. Just like Hyuri, the color of your face changed when I said that. Is Soo-Won's condition the reason why the princess acted as the king's substitute? And Kei-Shuk doesn't answer. And then Hak continues, you weren't going to tell me it's an incurable illness or something, are you? And Kei-Shuk is silent yet again. Hak continues, no way. Is it really... sorry, that's a little bit too flippant for the vibe I get. No way. Is it really like that? And Kei-Shuk finally responds now. You must wish for it to be true, no? Here's an interesting parallel that I just kind of realized. How similar do y'all think Kei-Shuk's relationship to fuck, why am I blanking on Yuhan? What do you think Kei-Shuk's relationship to Yuhan is similar to Hak's relationship to Il? Because if so, there's a neat parallel between these two meeting. Especially as, the implication here is that Hak hates Soo-Won for killing Il, much like Kei-Shuk hated Il for killing Yuhan. Interesting parallels to think about. Anyway, you must wish for it to be true, no? And Hak just looks at that, and we see, I'm guessing that's Hyuri's blade. Yeah. As he draws his blade as he kind of just continues to stand there. And Hak says, hey, you haven't answered my question yet. But isn't that an answer? Soo-Won's days are numbered. And because I ended up finding out about that, I'm gonna die here and now. Is that it? To begin with, there are many things I still don't know. It's normal to throw me a bone so I can die in peace, no? He's using his own death to, like, get more answers. And Kei-Shuk just looks at him. It would have been great if you had just stayed as a foot soldier. And Hak responds, now that you mention it, I haven't received my wages as a foot soldier. Do it properly or I might riot. And Kei-Shuk just turns away. We'll bury you with 100 lin. Wow. I really do just love their dynamic. Like, it's obviously incredibly antagonistic, but it's just, like, there's a lot of fun in just how much they hate each other. And Hak just responds, stingy bastard. Wait, Kei-Shuk, there's one more thing I want to say. Please let the princess, the four dragons, and you meet freely. So here's the thing here. The longer this scene goes on, the more there's a part of my brain that's like, what if they kill off Hak? And my rational part of my brain is like, there's no way they're going to kill off Hak. Why would they kill off Hak? He is the main romantic interest. It makes no sense killing him off. But also, what if? But also, there's a sense of kind of endgame to this arc. A series endgame, I mean. Given that we're talking about, Soo-Won, who is as close as anything this series has to a main villain's incurable illness. Incurable fatal illness, I should add on to. So, like, that's that kind of endgame vibe is where you kind of do start killing off main characters. So, I don't rationally think that Hak is going to die here, because that makes no sense. But also, there's a part of me that's kind of scared. Anyway, please let the princess, the four dragons, and you meet freely. Hak continues, even if the four dragons or you learn of any secrets, they aren't going to start rumors. It's thanks to those guys that the princess became able to laugh brightly after leaving the castle. I beg you. And Kei-Shuk just walks away with, I leave the rest to you, to Hyuri, and Hak calls after him, Kei-Shuk! And we hear the door creak. Oh, so Kei-Shuk opens the door, and he sees Yona just standing dead-eyed at him. Angry. Kei-Shuk is stunned. Like, mouth only slightly agape. He's still Kei-Shuk. He's not gonna, like, drop his jaw or anything. But still, shocked. And he just says, Princess Yona, why are you here? And then he also sees Min-Soo's with him. Min-Soo, you, and Yona gets attention. Let me through. And then again, let me through. I love angry Yona. The kind of, like, the mood Yona gets into when she's just like, I'm gonna take no shit from anyone. And fuck you for even considering stopping me. It's great. She's a queen. We stan. And then, yeah, Yona comes into the room. And we see, I was a little bit confused here, because we see Hyuri twice. And thanks to like the wooden beam, where the Yona panel, the bottom right of page 21 ends, and where the Hak panel begins, it almost looks like they're the same panel, if it weren't for the two Hyuris. But we do see, it's kind of interesting though, because I would have thought that Hak's reaction to seeing Yona here would get more page time than just in the corner. Yona, even more so, as we can't even make out any facial features on her face. But anyway, Hak is kind of stunned to see her there. And Yona just tells Hyuri, step back, Hyuri. And Hyuri just looks at her as Kei-Shuk tries to argue, Princess Yona, this rule is intended to protect the king. Matters pertaining to the health of the king are our country's closest guarded secrets. Yona counters, I can understand that as well as any. But the coming war against South Kai calls for flexibility, and a lot of it, am I right? You want to make me and the four dragons into enemies? Uh, okay. There we are. Yona's just openly declaring, do this and I will fuck you up. Hmm. You want to erase the cause for concern Hak represents, I gather. Also, just for a little cutesy thing here, Al was like jumped onto one of the wooden bars of Hawk's cage, because Al is an icon. Um, there's no way you don't understand to what extent that would invite our fury. If you want to focus on the war, if you want to protect Soo-Won, show some wisdom in your decisions, Advisor Kei-Shuk. God, Yona is just killing it this chapter. Like, I mean, she's been doing that all arc, but still, what a queen here. And Kei-Shuk just kind of takes that all in silently. Kei-Shuk, this is Hak. Deploy me on the front line of the war. It won't be as pointless as just killing me here, will it? I, too, want to protect Koka Kingdom. That must be the only matter where we see eye to eye. And you have a vision of Hak raising his... What is that, a glaive? Is that what a glaive is? I'm not entirely sure what a glaive is. Yes, that does very much look like a glaive. Raised up on the battlefield. Which could very well be a death sentence. It won't, because, Hak is like a main character. And now that Yona is back, I'm no longer think that Hak will die. Not even the tiny part of my brain thinks that. Anyway, Kei-Shuk takes another moment to consider everything, and then says, "I understand, Princess Yona. However, you'll have us keep the Thunder Beast here for a while. Min-Soo tend to his wounds." Min-Soo just suddenly, yes, sir. And Kei-Shuk turns to leave, and Hak is just kind of breathes a sigh of relief at his survival. Ao, by the way, is now just like draped over Hak's shoulder, asleep. But then suddenly, Hak's eyes widen as he sees Yona, who has collapsed to her knees, crying. And Hak looks at her. "Princess, what's wrong?" "I'm so relieved that you're alive. Until I arrived here, my legs were shaking. Had I been too late, what would I have done?" And then Hak responds, "Thank you so much for coming for me." There's something so casual about, or something so kind of minimizing about that. It's the first they've seen each other in like dozens of chapters at this point. Like, it's been a while since Yona, since they came back to the castle. I don't think they've seen each other at all. And it's just a really like understated reintroduction for them, and it's nice. And then Hak, smiling genuinely, long time no see. And then Yona, who's now has gone from the super nervous Yona the last page to an exhausted Yona. That's a very like tired facial expression. "I think we met yesterday, though." "Nah, I barely saw your face. So you fell down the stairs, eh?" And yeah, we see even like a kind of embarrassed Yona now. "I didn't get to fall." "Why did you do that, knowing how dangerous it was for you, Hak?" And Hak is silent for a moment before responding. "I was careless. I wanted information. I had heard from Judo that Soo-Won's dad, Yuhan, had been murdered by His Majesty Il. Is that true?" And then Yona just nods silently. "Then Soo-Won, to avenge that." But then Yona goes up to bat for Soo-Won. "It wasn't something as simple as revenge." And then she thinks to herself, "Because Soo-Won had waited 10 years to be sure about my father. When Soo-Won said he wouldn't put my box up, oddly enough, I agreed. And I think that's how he's able to live like that." What does she mean, put my box up? Her thought continues, "To Hak, who will always put the things precious to him up. It probably won't matter how I put this to him." So I think what she's saying, one sec, for some reason my mouth is especially dry tonight. But I think she's getting that, what she's getting at is, kind of what we saw near the end of Yeonhee's flashback, that Soo-Won would put his feelings for Yona aside for the sake of the kingdom, which is contrary to Hak, who will always put the things precious to him up. It's specifically the terms "up here" and "my box" that's used, and I don't know where that metaphor came from in particular. Unless I'm just forgetting something very obvious, which would not be the first time that's happened here. Anyway, to Hak, who will always put the things precious to him up. It probably won't matter how I put this to him. And then Hak says, "Sorry, I wanted to hear that from your mouth." Hak, one last thing. Please give me your hand. My hand? And she reaches out her hand. And Hak grabs it and then pulls Yona in for a kiss between the bars. Yes. I mean, and I'm kind of curious about the gonna be a little bit more technical here. Curious about the camera angle, for lack of a better term, and that we see it from well behind Yona. Where normally these kisses are done a kiss scene like this will be done from the side of the two of them, so we can see them in close up. But we have a bit of distance here. I'm not sure if that means anything in particular. And then Hak lets go, and then says, "I heard that you said you don't need an exclusive bodyguard." That, and then they start kissing again. And then Hak pulls back. "You don't need to go so far to protect me." And then Yona's kind of stunned by that. And, she starts to tear up. And then she just cries in front of him. And that's the end of the chapter. Next chapter is January the 4th. Okay. So, I'm kind of big on this. Trying to piece out where to start. First we do see just how strong Hyuri is here. And I described him as a force of nature earlier, and I think that's kind of an apt description. He never talks at all. He's just kind of unstoppable. Which, should we ever turn against Soo-Won at any point, could be kind of bad for us. I mean, it's bad for us here, as he just completely overpowers Hak. And Hak is already, incredibly strong. But now, Hyuri is just so overwhelming that, Hak just falls really, really easily. I don't even think Hak touches him, in their entire fight. Which then leads to, I was trying to decide to call it one or two great scenes, but it's really one great scene with Kei-Shuk. Both with Hak and Kei-Shuk, as their rapport is just really fun. The way they're both kind of jabbing at each other, all throughout their conversation is really fun. I especially love the "we'll bury you with 100 lane" conversation. And then, Yona steps in, and kind of, threatens Kei-Shuk, with a reminder of what killing Hak will do for their alliance. As, it's not going to exactly endear them to Yona to kill her lover. Which, and it really does show this kind of theme all throughout this arc of Yona as this, really, really good negotiator, who is very good at getting people to do exactly what she wants. As, she's able to get Kei-Shuk to, back off Hak for now. Because, she does not want the dragons as an enemy, especially now that they have South Kai as an enemy. And Hak also agrees. He's willing to go on the front lines, which he will survive because he's, you know, the main character, or one of the main characters, I mean, but, like, not, but, like, it would seem unlikely from the perspective of someone in this who is not aware they're in a story. I mean, yeah. And then, of course, we have the Hak and Yona scene, which, you know, is great, is real great. You know, we see that, like, so much of that still isn't the whole cold, you know, ice queen demeanor that Yona puts on is not all of her, is still something that she puts on. And so once the tension is gone and it's her and Hak alone, she's, you know, comfortable enough to be vulnerable like this and kind of show you know, the fear she had that Hak wouldn't make it. And I love that we see just how open they are in their relationship at this point. And then, of course, they start making out. And it's great. I like the detail that, like, they pull back and go back in a couple of times. Which doesn't seem like it's a thing that happens too much in manga, though it does happen a lot in just, like, reality. Unless they're, I mean, I don't have a encyclopedic history of manga kisses. But yeah. And then that's kind of where the chapter ends, with them alone in the cell. And it's great. It's setting up, it's kind of a reintroduction to Hak in the plot, as he's just kind of been taking a back seat for a good long while. And you know what? I'm always happy for more Hak. So yeah, this was just a really fun chapter, and I can't wait to see where this arc goes from here. Now that this part of the storyline is done, you know, Hak's knowledge is now set in stone, and maybe we'll start moving back towards this brewing war with South Kai. But yeah, we'll see what comes of that. We'll see what comes of that later. So that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!